Hi, my name's Hayley Quinn and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am really excited to share what I think is ultimately the best way of getting off the most boring topic of conversation in the world, which is work, and making it something sexy and fun instead. So I'm going to be showing you a very simple system for quickly shifting the topic of conversation, because I want to make you a masterful conversationalist. I want to massively improve the impact that you have with women in your life. No more small talk, no more her walking on by and not recognizing how much of an awesome man you could be to her. So I want you to listen up and I want you to watch all the way through, because this process has a few different variables in it. And if you can just nail them down, I know that I'm going to rapidly improve your conversation skills. Okay, so step number one. We're talking about work. This is like conversational death territory. It's sounding like small talk. It's really boring. You're thinking, oh, how do I move off this topic of conversation? Now, obviously, you don't want to go down routes where you're asking really logical, particularly questions that have a numerical answer, like how long have you been doing that? How far away is it? How many years did you have to study? No. Getting a number as a response from her is doing nothing. Instead, we want to use this topic of conversation to understand about who she is as a person. So the first thing that we're doing is we need to ask her a question about work that makes her give you a qualitative, detailed answer / memory, because we need this level of information in order to start driving the conversation in a better direction. So you could say, what was the moment or what was the day where you decided to do that job? Or what motivated you? What was the moment that motivated you to begin down that career path? Now, this is a really good, big question. And by specifying to the one day or the moment, what happens is she's going to have to go into her brain and pull up a specific memory to share with you. Now, when we get people talking in specifics, particularly about memories, we hear a lot of details suddenly about their character and their decision-making process. So the second thing I need you to do is really listen to her response. Don't try and second guess it. And I want you to be asking yourself the question, who is she? What is she telling me about herself through how she's giving me this information? This is really important because this is going to help us to steer the conversation to new territory. Also, I'm being real here. I don't care how cute she thinks she is. I really, really want you to be selecting her as somebody you want to go on a date with based on the fact that she's got some awesome personal qualities that you think are good as well. So say she tells you something like, oh, to be honest, I just saw an advert for the job one day, applied and kind of fell into doing it, but I really liked my team, so I stuck around and kept at it. Now, if she says that, what can we tell or what can we assume about her as a person? She seems relatively spontaneous, happy-go-lucky, she values social relationships and friendships. Now, I want you to think about what quality that statement is holding, and then as your step 3, I want you to validate her for that. A validation just means compliment, by the way. And what is so much nicer for her than being told that she has good hair or nice eyes or legs, though that's also good too, is if you can validate her on a bit about who she is as a person. This also demonstrates to her that you've got some standards as a man and you don't just want to go out on a date with her because she's fit. So here's what I want you to say. I want you to say something along the lines of, I like how go with the flow you are. I like how spontaneous you are. Now, here's where the clever stuff starts happening. Now we're going to use the fact that she's spontaneous and that we've got an image of her as a spontaneous person, and we're going to use that to imagine how she would behave in a different topic and in a different context. So we're going to use that quality to springboard away from the topic of work and into something completely new. This could be that you end up talking about, for instance, how she behaves when she goes on holiday, if you like travel. You could say, I bet, so step 4, jump topics. I bet you seem like the kind of person that if you're going to go on a holiday, you just book tickets the day before, turn up at the destination and just work it out as you go along. Now, when you say that, now we've successfully moved to the topic of travel. Now, ideally, you actually want to move the topic towards a topic that you're really interested in, whether that's technology or music or fitness, travel. Choose a topic that is your strong suit. The reason you want to do this is twofold. First of all, everybody is more charismatic and more exciting and engaged when they're talking about a topic they find really interesting. Second of all, what you want to be finding women that you have that level of personal compatibility and connection with. So it really serves you to approach the conversation in terms of how do we fit together instead of how can I impress her. So let's just go through that flow again. First of all, to move off the topic of work in a really epic way, you want to ask her a big, good question that invites her to give you a specific memory. What motivated you to do that? Was there one day where you decided that's the career you wanted to do? Second thing, I want you to really listen to how she's talking about it and think, what's she telling me about who she is as a person? Step 3, when you've identified the personal quality, as long as it's one that you like, I want you to validate her for it. I want to say, I like how you are. I like how focused you are. I like how you're ambitious. I like that you're spontaneous. I like that you stick at things. I like that you have a great relationship with your work colleagues. Fourth, I want you to imagine how she would be behaving in a different context and say, I imagine, you seem, I bet, and use that to step 5, spectacularly topic jump onto a topic that you find really interesting and that you want to talk about. Okay, that's my technological breakdown of how we go from work to something way better in 5 simple steps. Now, this is what I call conversation tech. It's a core module of what I teach in my members club, my events. It's all about understanding how conversations don't have to be small talk, they don't have to be laborious, they can be way more sexy and fun, and you can make them work for you. You just have to learn some skills to pay the bills. Now, if you want to learn more skills and you actually want to be a super conversationalist and you want to really understand how you can start to navigate and direct conversations and be way more charismatic, I would highly recommend you go over to hayleyquinn.com/club and check out my online club there, where I answer all of your questions personally and where there's a wealth of over 50+ hours of online courses that you can't see here about how you can massively improve your conversational tech.